Welcome to today's Explainer. We're talking about something today that, well, honestly, it's one of the most exhausting, flat-out painful challenges any business owner can face. And that's hitting that invisible ceiling of growth. You know exactly the feeling I'm talking about, right? You've built something great. It works. The revenue is coming in. But suddenly, scaling up requires so much more than just working harder. Honestly, growth starts to feel a bit like a liability instead of a victory. So today, we're going to explore exactly why that happens and, more importantly, how a firm called Indivieu actually solves this by turning all that chaotic operation into scalable, predictable systems.
Okay, let's dive into this. I need you to be really honest with yourself for a second. Are you the bottleneck in your own business? Like when your company brings on a new client or, launches a new campaign, does it feel strategic or does it just feel like another plate that you personally have to keep spinning so it doesn't crash? Because for so many successful founders, growth actually creates way more problems than it solves simply because every single process ultimately routes right back to their desk.
And if these symptoms sound painfully familiar, hey, your frustration is absolutely valid. These are the exact hallmarks of what Indivieu calls an owner-dependent business. Your revenue is totally unpredictable, like you have a killer month and then boom, a really concerning one. You're the absolute bottleneck for major decisions. Your team constantly needs you to direct their next steps, and there are basically no clear operational systems guiding them. The whole shebang relies entirely on a few key people, or worse, just you, being constantly available. You literally cannot scale a business that runs this way. No way.
Now, this completely flips the script on conventional business advice. Usually when growth stalls, the knee-jerk reaction is to say, hey, we need more leads. Let's hire a marketing agency. Let's dump a ton of money into Google Ads, right? But the hard truth is, most businesses struggling with their marketing don't actually have a marketing problem. They have a foundation problem. Their CRM is a complete mess, so the leads just go cold. The sales process has these massive gaps that literally no amount of ad spend can paper over. You hire an agency, the leads go absolutely nowhere, and then everyone just ends up blaming the ads.
Indivieu distills this whole problem down to this really simple but brilliant metaphor. It's like fixing the bucket before filling it with water. Just think about it. If your sales process and tracking infrastructure are just full of holes, pouring expensive marketing water into that bucket is really just a fantastic way to drain your bank account. The core approach here is to fix the bucket first. You build the CRM, set up the attribution, patch the conversion path. Then, and only then, do you actually turn on the faucet to drive that growth.
So the crucial point is this systems-first methodology. Indivieu isn't just another traditional ad agency that only knows how to buy clicks. They're actually a really rare hybrid, a strategic business consulting firm combined with digital marketing execution. They literally build the operational infrastructure, the workflows, the data tracking, the absolute foundational systems your business needs so that when you finally do launch those marketing campaigns, they're actually profitable and scalable. They fix the business before they fuel it.
From a practical standpoint, this kind of overhaul doesn't just happen overnight, right? It follows a really logical consulting sequence. Month 1 is a complete business assessment, so a really deep dive into your operations and your growth bottlenecks. Then, months 2 and 3 are all about systems and strategy implementation, which is where the actual backbone of your operations gets built. And finally, month 4 and beyond is where you scale and optimize, executing those growth strategies on top of a foundation that can actually handle the weight. Let's look a bit closer at that implementation phase, starting with the tech stack. Because they're a certified HubSpot solutions provider, Indivieu basically pulls you out of the dark ages, losing leads in some labyrinth of random spreadsheets, by implementing a highly customized CRM. They develop a structured sales pipeline, tailored to your specific business model. They automate lead management so prospects actually get followed up with systematically, and they put real data management systems in place. It stops the leaks. Leads are no longer falling through the cracks just because somebody forgot to send a follow-up email. But look, technology is really only half the battle. You absolutely need human and operational infrastructure too. So Indivieu helps create standard operating procedures, which, let's be real, nobody likes writing SOPs, but they are an absolute lifesaver. They help design a sustainable team structure, they automate repetitive workflows to cut out those manual bottlenecks, and they establish crystal clear KPIs. This is exactly how you build a backbone for your business that runs systematically, creating total accountability without the owner having to micromanage every little detail. And this brilliantly illustrates the power of that exact foundation, 133%. That's the massive improvement in the close rate of a mid-market e-learning company that actually worked with this system. So before the overhaul, their Google Ads performance was supposedly fine, but leads were just leaking at every single stage of the sales process. Indivieu stepped in, completely rebuilt their HubSpot pipeline, and connected their sales workflow directly to their ad tracking. And the result?
Just by fixing the foundation, their close rate jumped by literally 133%.
Which brings us to a really foundational truth of business growth. Marketing only compounds when it has somewhere to land. Once your CRM and your operational systems are totally locked in, full revenue attribution can be configured. And what that means is tying your Google Analytics, your call tracking, and your CRM data all together. So you can see exactly which keywords, which channels, and which specific ads are generating real closed revenue. No more guessing, no more vanity metrics. Every single budget decision you make becomes backed by actual dollar amounts. So this brings us to the ultimate transformation we've been talking about today. It's a fundamental shift in your role as the business owner. You move from being a hands-on operator, the person who's the bottleneck, who has to micromanage, who desperately relies on a few key individuals, to becoming a strategic leader. You now rely on structured decision-making processes, built-in accountability systems, and scalable frameworks. You're no longer working in the business just to keep it surviving. You're working on the business to keep it thriving.
And there is a huge, significant structural difference to note here too. See, most traditional marketing agencies, they try to lock you into their proprietary black boxes, right? They create this dependency that you just have to keep renting month after month. But Indiview's model focuses on permanent infrastructure. Every CRM setup, every dashboard, every automated workflow, and every framework they build belongs to you permanently. It's lasting infrastructure for your business, not some trap designed to keep you paying an ongoing retainer just to access your own data.
So, if you're tired of your company feeling like an exhausting, chaotic sprint, and you are finally ready to scale systematically, Indivieu actually offers a free $2,500 growth audit to identify exactly where your foundational bottlenecks are and where your business is leaking revenue. It's definitely a highly recommended step to take. But ultimately, you have to ask yourself one incredibly important question before you scale. Are you ready to build a business that runs without you?